Is it just me, or are the mac and cheese recipes becoming a little performative? It seems like the priority has become an elaborate cheese pull to draw us in, but the sauce is separating from the noodles, it's oily, grainy, and chief among them has an entire day's worth of calories. So let's make a calorie conscious mac and cheese that breaks with both traditional and modern consensus. So, right out of the gate, you don't need a roux and heavy cream. They both serve as emulsifiers or binding agents in the recipe. I prefer the texture of a roux, and to make it, you're just going to combine equal parts flour and butter and cook it on low just for a few minutes. Now, a little bit goes a very long way. Adding too much can give you a really pasty sauce, so be careful. Also, make sure you mix continuously so that you don't end up with a grainy sauce. Now we're going to turn our roux into a bechamel by adding warm milk. Incorporate the milk slowly and allow the roux to fully absorb the milk before you add more. You're also going to notice a lack of evaporated milk in this recipe. Now, my granny, Nanny Ma, used to put evaporated milk in her mac, but I would assume it was just a cheap alternative to milk. She had a ton of kids in the house. It doesn't add anything to the recipe, just unnecessary calories. I prefer to add warm, low sodium broth for depth of flavor and fewer calories. Now, when it comes to seasoning, please keep it simple. Don't season the mac and cheese to death. I just use a chicken bouillon cube, mostly for the umami from the MSG. Yes, MSG. A lot of people think they don't use it, but that's what gives popular seasonings like bouillon, accent powder, and sazon the savory flavor. Other than that, I just salt my pasta water when I boil my noodles. I don't cook my noodles in broth since they won't be boiling long enough to absorb the flavor. We're only going to cook the noodles about 85% of the way so that they don't get mushy during the baking process. Also, I use pre-shredded cheese. I've tried shredding my own cheese, but the juice was not worth the squeeze. Just keep in mind that you just need to melt the cheese. You're not cooking it. I use the residual heat from the bechamel to melt my cheese most of the way and cook on low heat to melt any leftover bits. Direct heat is not your friend, so be careful and stir as it warms. Next, we're going to drain most of the water from our noodles, just preserving a small amount of the pasta water to reinforce the emulsion. It should look a little too saucy going into the oven. Your noodles will continue to cook and absorb most of the moisture, but you don't want it to be so loose that your layer of cheese sinks during cooking. Bake on 350 until the cheese melts, and then turn up the heat to 400 just to brown it. Broiling it can toast the cheese without melting it, so I avoid it. Remember, a healthy head of hair starts with a healthy body. Make sure you come back next week for more fresh ideas.